After completing all 6 steps of the SIIPA tool, we're ready to explore the results. 3 new layers have been added to the map. It's important to note these map layers are only available in this session and are not stored, so make sure you run your reports and print your maps before closing the browser. Inside the project boundary, the tool has drawn priority area grid cells around all noxious weed populations and symbolized the populations by priority. Grid cell size is determined by the tool based on acreage in the project area and acreage infested with your target weeds. The tool then assigns a final rank score to each grid cell by summing up the scores of all weed populations within the cell. Please remember that for this example, I excluded populations ranked 8 and 9 during step 6, so any 8s and 9s are not included in these grid cell totals. Grid cells with a low final rank score should typically be your highest priority for treatment because they're the least infested and you get the biggest returns by controlling small populations before they firmly establish. Working your way up to grid cells with higher scores, you'll usually encounter multiple weed populations within the same cell. If resources are limited, it is generally most efficient to treat populations with the lowest score, working your way towards higher ranked populations. The SIIPA tool results can be harnessed in 3 ways. Please note, on some computers, pop-up settings may prevent the first 2 options from opening. Double-check your pop-up status in your toolbar if you have issues. The first thing you can do with your results is print a map. The geographic area you see in the viewer is what will appear on the map, so zoom in or out to your project area however you wish. You can add or remove layers to enhance the appearance of your map. Then choose the print option. Maps can be saved as images or a PDF and can be assigned different sizes. You can also edit the title to be specific to your project area. Another option is to run a report on the final results. The report begins with a map of your viewer area. Next, we see a list of the 4 prioritization variables: habitat, control, impact, and extent, along with all the classes, weights, and descriptions we assigned. If you selected priority weed species in step 1, these are summarized in their own section, telling you how many populations there are of those species in your project area. All other noxious weed species present in your project area are summarized in the following section. Next, we see a list of all the habitats in our designated area that overlap noxious weed populations, along with the class that we applied during the prioritization process. If there were any biocontrol releases made in the project area, they would appear in the final section. The third option is to download the esri geodatabase to use elsewhere later on. The geodatabase contains your project layers and tables and can provide further insight into your project components. As part of the final results, an email will be sent to the email address you provided in step 1. Inside the email is a link to your results geodatabase. The link can be accessed for several months. Finally, at the completion of the 6 steps, all of your project points will be automatically sent to EdMaps Pro and linked to your user account, where each of your infestations is ranked according to the system you utilized here in the Arizona SIIPA tool.